So as with all the other sets, I'm going to be doing a set breakdown of Clan Booster number 1, Academy of Divas. So Clan Booster is a new series of boosters for Cardfight Vanguard, in which the entire booster set contains only one clan, and the first one to get this treatment is Bermuda Triangle. So Bermuda is known for having like one set per year released for them, and it's always an extra booster dedicated for them, but now they decided to just call it a clan booster. Before going into the cards, there are a few things that I do want to mention, such as the things that are special about this set. One of these is that the SPs in this set have alternate arts, and also the text box of the effects is now basically clear and the text is only on the art. This also carries on onto G-CB01 in the future. And also, most rares and I believe commons all have a foil version as well in the set, so you can actually have a fully foiled out deck with this new set. So the clan booster brings support to quite a few archetypes for Bermuda Triangle. The ones that I'm going to split this video up into are Harmony, Duo, Coral, Prism, and Mirror. So while Mirror sort of does belong to a different archetype, and so well, Harmony isn't really an archetype, it's just a mechanic, I do feel that they should be talked about separately. So Harmony as a new mechanic is sort of interesting. Basically, when you have a unit on the field that has Harmony, and you call another unit in the same column, then both units become in Harmony until the end of your turn. And Harmony, while there are a lot of cards supporting it, I don't feel it's the strongest archetype of all, but they do have a lot of nice supporting cards, and the main one I'm going to talk about is the cover card of the set, School Étoile Olivia. Her skill allows you to bounce up to 5 units from your field as long as they're all different. So basically, you can bounce as many as you want, but they all have to have different names. And if you bounce 3 or more, then you can call, after you've bounced, you can call 2 others to separate rear guards in different rows, and then Olivia gets the critical. So while this stride is nice, I've seen, like when I was testing through Bermudas to sort of get a feel for this clan booster, I only really used Olivia like once because she's also a persona. So I would just have her 2 times in the G zone. For some decks like Coral, I could see Olivia being more helpful, but in decks like Duo, where you often have like your field is often the same cards, I don't feel that Olivia is as good. But talking more about Harmony, there is the main grade 3 for them, which is Miracle Voice Loris. She has the Harmony ability on both Vanguard Circle and Rearguard Circle, and one important thing about Harmony is that when you have a grade 1 behind your Vanguard that has Harmony, if you stride, the Harmony will activate, because as long as you have placed a unit in the same column, it doesn't mean call. As long as you've placed it, whether it's by stride, by ride, or by call, the Harmony will pop. So Loris has a pretty good GB2, in which when you Harmony you can give plus 2 units plus 5k, and she gets the critical, so she sort of buffs up the field, but it's a once per turn GB2, and it relies on Harmony. Her on-stride skill is quite nice, I actually like it quite a lot myself. Basically, when you stride on top of her, you can plus 1, and then you return one of your rear guards to your hand, and then you can draw a card. So if you return something like Peace, you can counterblast 1 to draw 2 cards basically. While she does not have Harmony, there is another new triple rare in this set in Ideal Walking Weather Emilia. Her skill is basically like Peace, but she's a GB1, so when she's returned to hand from your gut circle, you can counterblast 1 to draw a card. And she also has a Resist. But the fact that she's GB1 does hinder your plays quite a bit. Moving on to the other grade 3 for the Harmony deck, we have Sincere Girl Liddy. Her GB1 gives her plus 5k for each unit you have in Harmony, so that does not mean that for each unit you have that has the Harmony ability, but each unit that has Harmony popped for the turn. While her other skill is an on-ride, you can blast 1, soul blast 1, and then you can look at top 5 and you search for any card with Harmony, and then you can put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. So if your deck is mostly pure Harmony, then you will probably get something out of this ability. But I don't find her to be that amazing, although I can see her being played. The Amber clone for Bermudas is Admired Sparkle Spica. Her skill is really good, as when she's boosted, GB1, counterblast 1, you can return a card from the field to your hand, and then you choose 1 card from your hand, call it to your guard circle, and that unit gets plus 3000 until end of turn. This allows for extra attacks, this allows you to return Peace and draw off of it, and then call something else right after that. You can do a lot of nice combos with this card, and it really opens up a lot of plays for Bermuda. I really like Spica. One of the pure Harmony grade 2s is Unbelievable Potpourri. She has Harmony, and a GB1 ability, in that when her attack hits a Vanguard, you can bounce one of your rear guards back to your hand, and then if she's in Harmony, you can choose a card from your hand and call it to rearguard circle, and when you call again, you can once again reactivate the Harmony. Another card that is a Harmony unit, but I feel that she helps a lot of other Bermuda decks as well, is Superb New Student Shizuku. So Shizuku is all grown up and she has Harmony as well, and she has a once per turn GB1. When she becomes Harmony, you can look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck, and you search for any grade 3 or greater card from among them, reveal it to your opponent and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. When we get onto the Coral section of the video, I will tell you why this card is so good for Coral. While Bermuda did get a couple of really good strides from Fido's collection, they got one more in Fluffy Ribbon Somni. Her skill is an on hit. You can bounce one of your cards and then choose a card. Bounce one of your rear guards and then call something to a rear guard circle and it gets plus 3000 power. So it's sort of like Spica, but it's an on hit. But it does not cost Counterblast. An interesting little defensive idea, it's not exactly for Harmony, but I will cover it in the same sort of batch, is Secret Smile Pumo. When she's placed on Guardian Circle, you can choose a card from your hand and call it to an open rearguard circle. And if you do, then Pumo gets an extra 5000 shield until the end of that battle. So basically you can guard with it and then still call something out to an open rearguard circle. However, the card is a GB1. The often seen starter for Harmony is First Lesson Akari, as she does have Harmony herself. And her skill is, if she is in Harmony, she gets the skill, you can put her into the soul, and then you bounce one of your rear guards back to hand and draw a card. However, that skill is GB1 restricted. As all clans have been getting these really good stand triggers, Bermuda got one as well, but it's mainly just for Harmony. So this is Dreamer Crook. She has Harmony, and she has a GB1 skill in that if she is in Harmony, she gets the skill that you can put on top of your deck after she has boosted, and then if you do, you can choose one of your other rear guards, bounce it to your hand, and then you choose a card from your hand and call it to rear guard circle, and then you shuffle your deck. So basically you could bounce stuff like Peace and stuff like that. Like it does open up some plays, but it is restricted to both GB1 and Harmony. Moving on to some of the good common cards for Harmony, we have Little Princess Himari. I quite like her as a backup grade 3 for the Harmony deck. So her skill is obviously Harmony, and her other skill works on both Vanguard and Rearguard Circle. So it's a once per turn GB1. When her attack hits a Vanguard, if she's in Harmony, you can Counterblast 1. If you do, bounce one of your other rear guards and then choose a card from your hand, call it to any rearguard circle, and it gets power plus 5000 until end of turn. So she is pretty good as a backup. Obviously you only really want to use her ability on a rearguard circle, but I feel for common she is pretty alright. Victory Appeal Filie is also a Harmony unit, and she has a skill that is once per turn and GB1. When she becomes Harmony, you can Counterblast 1 and draw a card. As simple as that. However, she only has 8k power, so that is a sort of downside to her. However, she is a pretty good card. Finally, we have the last card for Harmony, which is a grade 1 with 6k power, Sweet Paradise Mania. Her skill is when she boosts, if she's in Harmony, she boosts for 10k. So she gets plus 4k until the end of that battle. So it's a 10k booster, but it has to be in Harmony. So I don't like the Harmony restriction that much because it can really hinder your plays if you don't draw into the right things. A lot of decks rely on drawing into the right things, but I feel that Harmony relies on it a bit too much unless you really build your deck to be exclusively Harmony based, which isn't very easy. Moving on to one of the bigger archetypes of Bermuda is Duo. First off, I'm going to cover the old school superstar of duos, which was Rate. So Rate did not get that much support in this set because duos were already so strong, but Rate did get a new grade 2 in Duo Fantasia Lemri. Her skill is, if you have Vanguard with Rate in his card name, she gets plus 2000 till the end of that battle when she attacks. So she's an 11k attacker when you have Rate. Her other skill is when she's bounced back from a rearguard circle, if your Vanguard is a Rate, or has Rate in its card name, you can search your deck for another Lemri, reveal to your opponent and put it into your hand. So basically, if you bounce her back, you can search for another copy, and then that way you can just fill up your attackers for no counterblast. While Rate used to be the superstar of duos, I feel that this spotlight of hers has been stolen by the all new Legion, which allows you to play Bermuda Triangle with only 4 grade 3s in the whole deck and still draw 7 to 9 cards every turn. This is Duo Lovely Angel Nemuel, who legions with Duo Lovely Devil Vapar. So they're almost like Angel Feather units, but the Nemuel skill is so good. I'll go into her second skill first. Her second skill is a once per turn. You can Soul Blast one card with Duo in its card name, and then you can bounce any of your rear guards back to hand. Then her other auto ability is also once per turn. You can Counterblast 2, And then when a card is returned from Rearguard Circle, if you're in Legion, you can pay the cost. If you do, you search for 2 cards with the same name as the unit that you returned from your field to your hand, you reveal them to your opponent, you put them into your hand and shuffle your deck. Then, you can choose up to 3 cards with the same card name as a unit on your Vanguard Circle from your hand and reveal them. If you reveal 3 cards, you can counter change 2. If you don't know what counter change is, it means unflip. It's just a new keyword that they introduced in this set. So how this ability basically works is that you can use her second ability to Soul Blast 1 card to bounce back anything, and then you use the second ability to Counter Blast 2 to search for 2 more cards of that. So let's say if you bounce back your Legion mate, you can Counter Blast 2 to search for 2 more, and then if you're in Legion, you can reveal those 3 that you have in your hand to unflip the 2, but you also search for 2 cards, so that is really good. Now, what the Legion mate does is when she is returned to your hand from Rearguard Circle, you can, and if your Vanguard is in Legion, you can Counter Blast 1. If you do, you choose one of your other units, you search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as that unit, show it to your opponent, put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Then you can choose 3 cards with the same card name as the unit on your Vanguard Circle from your hand, reveal them. If you reveal 3 cards, you can counter change 1. So how this works is, let's say you use Nemuel to bounce back Vapor, and then with Vapor skill you select, let's say, Piece, you search for another piece, and then since you search for the other 2 Vapors with Nemuel, you show the 3 Vapors for Nemuel skill to counter change 2, and you show the 3 Vapors to counter change 1 for Vapor skill. So basically you end up using no Counter Blast and you just search for 3 cards off of 1 Soul Blast. No other Counter Blast was involved. This is a very good, like, you already searched 3 cards. If you use, then you use the starter just to bounce back Piece, you draw cards, and like you can draw so much in 1 turn. Like, not directly draw, but just search so many cards in just 1 turn. This is why I really like this new duo deck. You can just play 4 grade 3s, and then your strides mainly consist, you only need like 2 Olivias, and then, if any, and then you use the fighter selection strides and the rare stride, and the deck is really cheap and really, really good. So if you want to play budget Bermuda Triangle, I highly suggest trying out the Nemuel Legion, as I feel it is the top tier Bermuda deck at the moment. Now, this is not a clan analysis video, so I'm not going to go into all the duo cards from the previous set. However, duo did get 3 other cards that also help out both the Rake deck and the Legion deck a lot. The first one I'm going to go into is duo Beloved Child of the Sea Palace, Minamo. Her skill is basically when something is bounced, if you have a Vanguard with duo in its card name, you can almost 1 and she gets plus 5k until end of turn. Then you can choose to reveal 3 cards with the same card name as the unit that was bounced, and if you reveal them, you can counter change 1. So basically, if you have 3 cards, let's say you have 3 I know I mentioned Piece all the time, but she's like the best Bermuda card in my opinion. Let's say you have 3 Piece, you bounce them. Let's say you bounce 1 piece, you count plus 1 to get 5k, and then you reveal the 3 pieces in your hand to unflip it. You can keep spamming, like if you have anything that can bounce, you can keep spamming Minamo's ability to just get plus 5, plus 5, plus 5 to build up a really strong attacker. So Roan has been an important card in duos for a long time, but now there's also a card that I see as the grade 1 alternative of Roan, which is Duo Gorgeous Lady Kazuha. Her skill is when attack hits a Vanguard during the battle this unit boosted, you can counter blast 1. If you do, choose one of your rearguards with duo in its card name, return it to your hand, and then you search your deck for a card with the same card name as that unit, reveal it to your opponent, put it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So you cannot counter change with this card. However, it's the same as Roan, where if you hit, you counter blast 1, you bounce something back and search for it. So I like Kazuha. She's pretty good, and adds a lot of pressure when you boost Roan with her. And finally, duos did get a critical trigger just for themselves, which is Duo Love Joker Chulim. Her skill is when another unit is returned from your field to your hand. If you have a Vanguard duo in this card name, you can counter blast 1 and put this crit from the field on top of your deck. If you do, you can search your deck for the same card as the one that you bounced back, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So not only do you get this critical trigger back, but you also search for a card that you bounced. So you don't search for the critical, you just search for a card that you already bounced with another skill, not Chulim's skill. A tiny little section on Coral. So Coral is a sort of a right chain deck for Bermudas, and they also have the cross-right Shangri-La form. However, they are often overlooked, and after looking into the deck a bit, I've noticed that superb new student Shizuku helps the deck out a lot. Now, the reason why I give Coral a separate section is because of her Limit Break 4 ability. You can almost one, you Soul Blast 1, and you choose one of your Bermuda Triangle rearguards and return to your hand. And then Shangri-La Star Coral gets plus 3000 until the end of turn. Then you can choose up to one card with Coral in its card name from your hand and put it into your soul. If you do, you draw 2 cards, and this is a once per turn effect. So, what Shizuku does is when she becomes Harmony, you can look at 5 cards on the top of your deck, search for up to one grade 3 or greater card from among them, reveal to your opponent, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So, what you can do is you can sit on Shangri-La Star Coral, stride on top of her while having Shizuku behind, and then as soon as you stride, Shizuku's ability procs. You can look at the top 5. If you find a Coral, if you find any grade 3, because all your grade 3s will be Corals in a normal Coral deck, you can put it into your hand and the next turn either use it for stride or for Coral's ability to put the new Coral that you just searched into the soul to draw 2 cards. This is a little bit of synergy that this card brings that just opens up so many plays that you can make with the deck. Also, some of the other new cards like Spica also open up a lot of plays for the Coral deck, which I like to see. Going into the final archetype of Bermudas is Prism. So first off, before we even get into Prisms, we have to mention that there is a limit break remover for Bermuda Triangle, which is Prism, Duo, Loretta. So you can use this in both Prism and Duo decks for all those, like in Mir you can use this to break right early, in Prism you use this for all the limit break effects that the Prism deck has. So Prism's got 3 new cards, one of which is triple rare and 2 are rares, and they're the 3 Prism units that were the stars from before, but now they're all grown up. So the first one is Prism Promise Princess Labrador. So what Princess Labrador does is when you stride her, you can G-Persona, so you flip one Princess Labrador face up, only once per turn. If you have a heart card with Prism in its name, you can choose 2 of your rearguards and until end of turn you get power plus 5000, and at the end of battle that unit attacked or boosted, you return them to your hand, just like Prism used to do before. So basically, you G-Persona, you buff up your field, and then they go back to your hand regardless. To help out, we have 2 other new units for Prisms, first one of which is a grade 2 Prism Promise Princess Celtic. So we used to have Celtic before, but now she's also Princess. So when her attack hits a Vanguard, you can counterblast 1 card with Prism in its name. And then, if you do, you choose one of your other rearguards and return it to hand. If you return the rearguard, draw a card. So for Counterblast 1, basically you bounce something and you also draw a card, which combos well with Prism Promise Princess Leite. Princess Leite's skill is when she's returned to your hand from rearguard circle, which is what Celtic does. If you have a Vanguard with Prism in its name, you countercharge 1 and you soul charge 1. And on top of that, you choose one of your other units, it gets power plus 4000 until end of turn, and you cannot normal call Prism Promise Princess Leite until the end of your turn. However, you can still call her out by effects of cards, which, you know, a lot of other cards and Prisms do. The final triple rare that I didn't quite touch on yet is Duo Eternal Sister Mir. So this makes Mir a separate deck of her own with the Duo archetype. So I can still use all the good cards from Duos, but I don't really see this deck working that well with Wraith or the Legion for that matter. With the Legion it doesn't work at all because the Legion just needs the Legion. So her first skill is once per turn you can counterblast 1 and soul blast 1. You can return one of your rearguards to your hand, and then you search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as that unit, reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck, and then you choose a card from your hand and put it into your soul. So you can use this ability to put the other form of Mir, Duo True Sister Mir, into the soul of the Duo Eternal Sister Mir. Now, the limit break 4 of this new Mir is counterblast 1 and discard 3 cards from your hand. At the end of the battle that this unit attacked the Vanguard, you can pay that cost. If you do, you choose a card named Duo True Sister Mir, which is the other form of Mir, from your soul, write it as stand, and then you choose a card named Duo Eternal Sister Mir from your soul, put it to your hand, choose a card from your hand, and discard it. So you have to discard 4 in total. However, how games would usually go is that you would be on Duo True Sister Mir, then you would break ride with Duo Eternal Sister Mir, doing the break ride skill and doing all that stuff, and then at the end of the battle, you counterblast 1, discard 3 to ride the break ride from your soul on top of the new Mir, and then you take the Mir this new Mir from the soul into your hand, and then on top of that you have to discard another card. So while the discard cost is big, it is a pretty good card because you can spam the break ride. So this wraps up the set breakdown of Clan Booster number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm not the biggest Bermuda player, but I do understand them, and I did playtest them quite a bit before making this video, so I could really, I could talk about stuff that I've seen. Like, some people seem to ignore Coral a lot, while I feel the deck is, like, it got boost, it got power, it got something new from the set, so I do quite like what this Clan Booster has brought to the meta, and I really do like the new Dual Legion because, like, it just shows that you don't need Withstanders, you don't need huge field buffs in order to be the best deck. You just need to draw 7 cards per turn instead. So I hope you guys like this set breakdown video. As always, I'll have the next one up for GB204 or the Token Ranbu set when those do come out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.